Buying new construction versus building your own home right here in Northern Virginia from a realtor who guides clients through this from start to finish. Hey everyone, I'm a local realtor here in Northern Virginia, and a big part of my business is helping buyers navigate new construction purchases and custom home builds from the very first idea to finding the right location or lot, to reading contracts, to the home inspections, and all the way through the final walkthrough and closing. I want to start by saying this. Both of these paths can be amazing. They can get also expensive, complicated, stressful, and you want to go in with a clear plan. So today, I'm going to walk you through the steps in each process, the real costs people underestimate, and then also the common mistakes I see buyers make, and how I help my clients decide which path actually fits their budget and timeline. If you're even thinking about new construction or building a custom home here in Northern Virginia, this video, this information is gonna save you time, money, and a few headaches. Today, I'll show you everything. Hi, I'm your favorite realtor, Norm, and it's going to be my goal to be your go-to resource for everything real estate. I've helped hundreds of clients with their real estate transactions, and it would be my pleasure to add you to our client family. Please email me, contact me. My phone number and contact info is right below. It would be a pleasure to help you get a home here in Northern Virginia. And now back to the video. Number one, you want to start with the location and not the house. This is where I always start with my clients, and honestly, it's the most important decision of the entire process. So before we talk about floor plans, finishes, or dream kitchens, we talk about where you want to live. You see, in this area, that usually means looking at places like Arlington, Fairfax, Alexandria, Falls Church, and each of these come with different price points, commute realities, school pyramids, zoning and building rules, and very different lot availability. Here's where I always like to start with buyers. You can change the house, but you can't change where it sits. You see, if you're buying new construction in a community, the builder has already chosen the location for you. And then we evaluate whether that location really fits your lifestyle, long-term plans. And if you're building a custom home, then finding and vetting the right lot becomes step one. And that's just, oh, it looks nice here. We're talking about what you can actually build if you can do that right where you are and where you think you want to build. For example, what are the setbacks? What are the zoning limits? What are the utilities available at this site location? Do you need well? Do you need septic? Are there any easements in the area that can limit what you can do here? Do you have a copy of a recent survey to help you answer those questions? And then also, are there any neighborhood covenants you should know about? Should you do some soil testing? These are all things that I've seen in the past. You've probably seen signs that say, "We build on your lot." That means that they're thinking about working directly with your current address to develop a new construction project there. And these are the steps that I can help you go through. These are the questions I can help you answer, whether it's your current address, which may be perfect for you, or maybe you want to relocate. This is a place where having someone who does this all the time, like myself, can save you a lot of time, a lot of headaches, and that could turn into a real nightmare. At the end of the day, working with a realtor is going to help you get across the finish line. Number two, big picture. Before we dive into those details, let's just zoom out for a quick second. Because new construction in a community, it usually means the builder already owns the land. And then you choose from a set of floor plans, maybe even a particular lot. You personalize the home with options and upgrades. The timeline is a little bit more predictable. You see, the process is also more structured with new builds than a custom build. A custom build really means you're gonna find the lot, or maybe you have it already. You you design the house or heavily customize the floor plan, you choose almost everything. This means multiple trips to the design center, or does the builder you're working with have a design center? The timeline is going to be longer, less flexible than the process, and neither one of these processes is better. The right answer really depends on you, your budget, timeline, your tolerance for decision making and uncertainty, and how custom you really want to go. Buying new construction, what it's like, what most people tell me is this. New construction, they mean they're buying a home from a builder in a planned community. You want to think about companies like Toll Brothers, Evergreen, Lennar. I've helped a lot of buyers through these transactions with builder developers. And here's the honest, real world version. The upsides of the brand new home is, no wear and tear. You're getting a builder warranty, meaning the builder is going to warranty the home in the early parts of your ownership. This is structure, systems, working with this type of project. You're going to get a more predictable build timeline. There are just fewer decisions to make. The builder is going to make a lot of these decisions for you. And a lot of times the builder is also going to line up financing options, such as benefits to work with one of their preferred lenders. They may offer discounts for that particular project. For a lot of people, this is the sweet spot. New home, less complexity, reality checks. This is where I spend most of my time protecting buyers. Think about this. The builder will advertise the base price. This is the base price of a particular model, and then you fall in love with the model home. Model homes are almost never priced out, spec'd out at the base price. The model homes come with upgrades that really affect the price. And so if you start making upgrades to the base price, such as kitchens, baths, flooring, lighting packages, maybe changing the ceiling height or dimensions in a particular room, a finished basement, things like that, that's going to affect the price. That's going to raise the price, and something to consider as you work within your budget and make sure the home has what you want and you're also getting the monthly payment that you want. The second thing I see a lot with buying direct from the builder are lot premiums. These are real. A lot premium is this. You buy into a new community, the builder will show you probably on a map, these are my available lots. Where would you like to live within this community? And the properties that have, let's say, the most desirable lots in the community, the builder will charge a premium, a lot premium. These are the lots with the better views, maybe some bigger yards. If there's an option for a cul-de-sac or a dead-end street, these lot premiums could add tens of hundreds or even thousands of dollars to the end price. The third thing I see happening around this stage is the builder contracts. The local builders will not use the standard NDAR contract. This is kind of a more neutral contract for buyers and sellers. Builders use something called a builder contract. This is something that's weighted to advantage towards the builder. The contracts are a little more one-sided, like I said, favoring the builder wherever they can. They're written to protect the builder's timeline, the builder's pricing schedule, and flexible towards the builder's necessity, not yours. What I can do is I can walk clients through these contracts and show them places to negotiate and protect their interests, how the process actually works. By guiding them through these steps, I'm able to expose them to new ideas, something they may not be thinking about, and it's protections in the timeline in this big purchase. That's something to consider. Next, I see folks not getting approved. They go out shopping thinking that I can afford it. Then they start shopping maybe with not all the full picture, not all the information, the real numbers. These real numbers can really help you, whether you're getting a specific type of mortgage, a mortgage strategy. It's something you want to think about before you go shopping, get emotional and fall in love with the property, because at that point, it could be hard to kind of understand where you are in the process, and you may be thinking with your heart versus your brain, or vice versa, and it just gets more complicated. By bringing a professional with you, like myself, you're going to be able to visit that sales office for your first meeting with an agent, somebody on your side, even keel, reminding you of what you want out of this, protecting your interests, something that can save you some money, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. Talk with a local realtor to get that information. You want to separate the marketing price from the real price. See, we build out a realistic upgrade and lot scenario that will help you review timelines, escalation clauses, and change order rules. This is huge. A change order is when you agree to a contract with the builder, you're moving forward, and you think, God, I really wanted that wet bar in the basement, or I wanted this in the kitchen. This can be done. This is through a change order. A builder, you can do it, but they generally charge you a fee to make a change. So think about that. You want to budget for extra items that the builders may not be telling you about, just in your personal budget. And things that builders don't include are things like window treatments. The outside landscaping may not be included. Property fencing, decks. Those surprises catch people off guard all the time. Something to consider. Also, help with home inspections. Yes, builders do allow for home inspections, and builders miss things. I've seen builders, forget to connect a fitting or connect some of the pipes or electrical, and it's nice to find that out way in advance. Maybe a pre-drywall inspection. Usually on new construction, there's different types of inspections. You might inspect before, after the home has been framed, and then again before the drywall goes up, so the home inspector can see the wiring, the other things behind the walls, make sure that's done correctly before the builder seals everything up. I've also seen buyers fall in love with the model of a home, and then they get quickly shocked when the final number is in the hundreds of thousands above the model price than they expected. I can give you some guidance right up front so that doesn't happen. Building your own home. This is often called the custom home route, and there are lots of builders around town that would love to help you do custom project. This is one a lot of people dream about. This is where you say, I want this layout, I want this kitchen, this office, this primary suite. I'm working with my own architect. I may have my own ideas on the finishes or the exterior of the home. All of these could be put into the design build of your new home, and it is exactly that. You get it exactly like you want. It could be different than everybody else's, and that's a possibility. Another time I see clients that want to build custom is because they don't want to compromise, and this works well a lot. It's fantastic. The upsides are huge. You design for you and how you actually live. You control the layout, you control the flow of the home, finishes, like I said, inside and out, all the materials. You can maximize, make it unique as you want or as premium as you want. A lot of times clients look long and hard for the specific lot that they want. Many times lot in close-in locations like Arlington, Vienna, and parts of Fairfax, they're going to be tear-down situation, meaning you'll need to buy the home that's there, tear it down, and then build new with your custom project. This happens a lot, and I can tell you more about that upcoming. Often the long-term satisfaction with these custom projects is very, very high. And the reason for that is it's all custom designed to your liking. The truth is, this is the part you don't see on TV. HGTV doesn't show you all the steps it takes to go through a custom home build. Custom projects start, I would say, on a year timeline. It may take longer, just depending on how involved the project is. When I say often it takes longer, it could be much longer, 2 years or more. And we're talking hundreds of decisions, not just a few here and there, dozens, hundreds. And then there's cost creep. This could be slowly or suddenly. Just something to consider as you're managing a huge project like this is teaming up with someone who has the experience. I've done this myself to keep you on track, motivated, and aware of just exactly what's happening throughout this process. And so working with the right team, and the team could look like builder, architect, lender, things of this nature. Those are all folks that will be in your corner. And then at the end of the day, you need patience. You need a contingency fund. You will likely be building in an already established neighborhood. Keeping the neighbors happy during your construction process may be something you are faced with. The step-by-step process I use with clients to find, evaluate lots, and then confirm it's actually buildable for your project and goals is something that we can do. You want to check zoning, you want to check your setbacks, easements, utilities. This can change the entire design of the project. And then of course, you're working closely with a builder at this point to help you plan or design from scratch. You're also at this point securing construction financing and looking at your strategy to complete the purchase, complete the new build. And this is far different than a regular mortgage. You may be familiar with the loan process from before, but acquiring a land and building new, this is a different type of mortgage. This is construction financing, and it could come with multiple closings or maybe just one. It's something to talk about right up front with your construction lender. By that, I know lots of folks that do construction financing. These are mortgage specialists that can give you some advice on down payment options, construction draws, which lenders they work with, and help you with all your financing options. They can also help you with next steps around financing, in particular the appraisal, and then I can help you with specs and selections. This will take time and energy, and you're going to want to build in some contingencies, because something that always comes up, and I see it come up a lot, is the unknown. This is something when you're building, you're at the site, who knows what you might get into, but it does happen. Stay patient. And the difference between a good experience and a stressful one is often whether you plan from the beginning and who's on your team. So the budget. This is where I see most people get burned. This is probably the most important section of the entire video. The sticker price is not the final price. Not for the new construction, not for the custom homes. Here's what people often forget to budget for. It's upgrades and options. That is somewhere you get very excited during the upgrades and options selection, and you think, I can't live without this feature. So you put it in there. It does affect the price. There's probably a change order, something to consider. Another part of this no one talks about is site work. What site work is you need to prepare the land for the new build. This could be regrading, taking down an old house, could be county requirements. Site work can be expensive. It can add as much as 6 figures, $100,000 to a project or more. There could be local impact fees, especially for custom builds. There's often stormwater management to consider. If you haven't heard that before, this area, you could get into it. That's additional work. This site work, the stormwater management fees, they really add up, because then you start thinking about, well, I need landscaping, would like the patio, I really wanted that hardscaping place for my grill. What about a deck, a fence, a driveway? Those are all separate and something you may not consider when you're negotiating the contract up front. Another big surprise to a lot of my clients, it was a surprise to me when I've been through this process a few times, is window treatments. You know, a brand new home, beautiful, probably over 5,000 square feet. You're gonna have lots of windows. The builder's not gonna put in the window treatments for you. So that means you're calling your own company to get those installed, and it's gonna be somewhere in the $5,000 or more range. It's just a nice surprise when you think you've already budgeted for everything. There's one more thing. The other thing I see folks concerned about are carrying costs. This is the monthly cost just to maintain the project. A lot of times you might be paying for the land, the new build, and you're living somewhere else during this process. You may have had to rent something short term where you're in a 6-month to a year rental. So you've got the rental costs, you've got your primary mortgage, you've got your construction mortgage, and then you could be budgeting for other things during that process. So again, if you have to move out, you've got to secure other housing. That's going to have a cost to it. For custom homes, I usually tell clients to keep 10 to 15% of the project in reserves as a contingency fund. And that's not being pessimistic, that's being realistic and smart. Good budgeting. So here's the timeline. Just be honest with yourself from start to finish, from what you see in real life, not in the brochures. Try to keep your emotions in check as you see all the options that you could put into a new construction project. And at the end of the day, new construction in a community, those are usually 6 to 12-month projects. You would put a deposit down, the builder is going to walk you through the timelines, and then the whole neighborhood will come online. For the custom projects, my clients are not thinking about timelines for custom projects. Those are generally minimum 1 year or more. You could easily go over 2 years depending on your level of upgrades, just how custom the project is, or is it near water? Are there any other things to consider like that? And then also weather is very important for construction. You're getting permitting along the way, there's county inspections, there are material shortages, what you want may not be available immediately, and then of course there are design challenges. So I always ask clients, do you have a hard deadline? Because we'd like to know that for yourself up front. Can you handle delays emotionally and financially? Do you have backup housing plans? Your patience level really matters here, more than people think in this process. Contracts, inspections, and legal stuff. This isn't very exciting, but it's absolutely critical. And because the builder and construction contracts are so complex, they're usually talking about, maybe the lot acquisition, there's a longer horizon on the delivery. Your typical residential purchase is 30 to 60 days once you go under contract. We're talking about a year, 2 years or more. There's a lot of contingencies to consider. And the way it starts off is the builder will start by making these contracts in favor of themselves. So I strongly recommend having all of these contracts reviewed by a real estate attorney, somebody who may have seen these contracts before, so they can help you understand how change orders are priced and upcoming prices that you may not be thinking about in the timeline. And then also, what if the timelines slip, if the builder gets delayed? What are your options? What kind of warranties will you be receiving once you do take ownership of the house? And what's a certificate of occupancy? Well, I can tell you more about that. That's when you can actually move in. And you also want the power to still do your independent home inspections. Like I said earlier, even these new homes may have something an inspector would take note. A new house does not mean the perfect house. You'll still need to have those inspections, and I've seen plenty of issues caught by good inspectors. So what are the common mistakes I see buyers make? Let me save you some time here, save you some pain here. And it's this: falling in love with that model home and not the budget. A lot of times buyers underestimate the cost to upgrade, or they forgot to plan for some of these delays, maybe in their housing. Maybe they signed a short-term lease, but they need actually a year-long lease so they complete the new construction process. Some of my clients don't keep that contingency fund. That can cause it to get stressful in the very end. And then a lot of my clients too, you could get emotional. They sign a contract without fully understanding the terms. I really appreciate it when I'm able to be there with you so we could go through this process together from the very beginning, because as you're getting emotional, as you're getting excited, who wouldn't? This is a brand new home right in the area you want to live in. You're probably thinking about just the excitement that is behind that. Having someone like me in your corner to make sure you're getting fair treatment along the way is absolutely going to save you time and money and some headache. I'd love to be a part of it from the very beginning with you. Back to some of the pitfalls. If you choose based solely on your monthly payment and not the total cost, that's maybe something you're not gonna enjoy in the very end. Think about this, with a little bit of planning, everything here is avoidable. And I can give you that guidance, that calm presence to help you make those decisions. And here's my honest experience based on past experience. If you're looking for new construction, you're probably looking for a more predictable, simpler process, fewer decisions, faster move-in. If you're choosing a custom build, you probably want full control. You probably want to personalize process, design the home with all your thoughts in mind, make sure the ideas get put into the project. It's gonna come with more decisions, more moving parts, and neither one of these directions is better than the other. Really, the right answer depends on you. So what other questions do I often get? Hey Norm, what builder should we work with? Who are the local reputable builders? What questions should you ask them when you're interviewing them for your new custom build? It's going to be the person that is going to listen to your needs, really understand what you're trying to accomplish. In our area, there are a lot of builders. Many of them, you're going to recognize their name. I know most of the builders in the area. I've worked with so many of them. And when you're looking for a custom builder or considering new construction and you're in the research process, you want to know your options, you can leverage my experience to help with that. So here are some final thoughts. I help people through these decisions all the time here in Northern Virginia. And the biggest wins always come from planning early and being realistic, just from the start. So whether you're thinking about buying new construction, considering building a custom home project, or just looking at lots and considering where you might want to buy a lot to ultimately build your dream home, I can help you with that advice. The earlier you get the good advice, the smoother and the cheaper this whole process is. If this was helpful, hit the like, subscribe, and drop your questions in the comments. And if you want help thinking through your specific situation, I'm helping to walk you through it. If you want to know about these properties that match your specific priorities before they hit public listings, email me, norm@callnorm.com. Let's start that conversation. All of my contact information is in the description below. I cover the best neighborhoods for families, young professionals, individuals, retirees, across every price point. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. And remember, questions, concerns, hallucinations, call Norm.